Oftentimes we think we're keeping ourselves safe when we're just keeping ourselves stuck. And by letting go of some of the safety nets, we actually allow ourselves to move forward and experience more peace and more freedom.
Welcome to a Healthy Push podcast. I'm Shannon Jackson, former anxiety sufferer turned adventure mom and anxiety recovery coach. I struggled with anxiety, panic disorder, and agoraphobia for 15 years. And now I help people to push past the stuff that I used to struggle with. Each week, I'll be sharing real and honest conversations along with actionable and practical steps that you can take to help you push past your anxious thoughts, the symptoms, panic, and fears. Welcome. You're right where you're meant to be.
So, I've been keeping something big from you for a little while now, but I'm finally ready to share with you what's been going on in my personal life. On August 5th, just a couple weeks back, I quit my job in healthcare after working in the field for 17 years. Yeah, I still kind of can't believe that I did it, and to be honest, it still doesn't feel quite real. It kind of just feels like I'm on some sort of extended vacation. But this wasn't just some decision that I made on a whim. It's something that I've been planning and working towards for quite a few years now. So I want to take you a little ways back in my journey so that you can get the full picture of how I've landed here to where I am today. So, you know, the kids that graduate high school, immediately go to college, have a direction, and then land a job in the field that they studied? Yeah, that wasn't me. And I always knew that it wouldn't be. I graduated high school, I had no idea what direction to take, and college scared the bejesus out of me. I was the kid who, when asked what they wanted to be when they grew up, would feel overwhelmingly scared and anxious because not one thing came to mind. But luckily, I have a very smart mom who encouraged, well, rather forced me to go to a local community college and get an associate's degree in liberal studies or in really anything. And so I did. That was after failing multiple classes and it taking me 6 years to graduate with my associate's degree. At least I did it, right? So to back up a little, while I was in high school, I got my first job working in the kitchen of a local hospital. Then after that, I shifted into working in administrative roles within healthcare clinics soon after. First, I worked in medical records, then I worked as a receptionist, then in quality assurance, then as a secretary, and then when I was 26 years old, with only an associate's degree, I landed my first leadership job as a supervisor for a large hospital organization in Massachusetts. I was so proud of myself for, working my way, quote, up the ladder. Growing up poor, I saw healthcare as a huge opportunity, one that could provide financial stability, growth, and continuing opportunities. So after being in the supervisor role for just about a year, I decided to go back to college and pursue a bachelor's degree in healthcare management so that I could keep hustling and eventually work my way even further up the ladder. And before I even graduated with my bachelor's, I had landed a job as a practice manager of a neurosurgery and spine clinic. And then shortly after, I graduated from college with highest honors. Yeah, that college experience was much different than the other. And at the time, you could say, I thought I had made it. I was so proud of myself for everything that I had accomplished. But soon after starting my job as a practice manager, like all of the other jobs I had had, I quickly became bored of it. But this time, instead of just moving on to the next, bigger and better thing, I began questioning my path entirely. And so many days I remember coming home from work, not feeling fulfilled, inspired, or even happy, and thinking, this can't be it. And of course, I remember thinking, I can't believe that I went back to school. I can't believe I put myself through all that. I can't believe I worked my butt off to get my bachelor's degree. What am I even doing? And I remember at the time I had a conversation with a mentor of mine, and I shared with him how I had been feeling, and he said something that left such a bad taste in my mouth. He said, Shannon, if this work isn't fulfilling you, you've got to find something outside of work that you're passionate about, something that you really love, so that you can get what you need outside of here. And at the time, I translated his advice to, so not only do you have to work your butt off during the day, you have to then go home and find something you're passionate about and do that so that you can feel what you're wanting to feel. Needless to say, at the time, I felt so hopeless. I thought I knew my path. I thought I had finally figured it out. Healthcare was it. This path was it. So what did I do? Well, I just kept going. I thought maybe if I just keep jumping to the next bigger and better thing, something will stick. It'll all work out. So I went to an interview for a director level job. I thought, this will be so good for me. I'll be making 6 figures. I'll have financial security, and I already know it's something that I'm good at. And I remember leaving that interview thinking, what the heck are you doing, Shannon? You don't want this. And finally, I knew that I had to stop running. And I knew that I had to stop and really answer this question. Like, what are you doing? And I had to answer it honestly. I knew that I didn't want to keep going on the path that I was on. I wanted to abort mission entirely, but I was so freaking scared to even think about doing something else. I would think, but this is safe. Healthcare is safe. You know it. You'll always be able to find a job in it, and you'll always have a paycheck. And then I got the call that offered me the job that was the next move up the ladder. And I battled with this decision hard, like really hard. But deep down, I knew that if I chose this path, I was only choosing it because it felt safe, because it felt comfortable. I wasn't choosing it because it would make me feel fulfilled or joyful. So I turned it down. Yeah, I turned down a really well-paying job, and it was one that lots of people wanted. And soon after this, I went back to the words that my mentor had shared with me years earlier, and I knew that there had to be something to it. And of course, there was. His advice wasn't find something you're passionate about and do that on top of working a job that doesn't light you up for the rest of your life. His advice was simply find something you're passionate about because maybe that thing will turn into your work. And this was something that I could get on board with. I remember telling myself, Shannon, you need to find something you're passionate about. And of course, I had no idea where to look or what to do. It was as if I was graduating high school all over again. It felt like I had no ideas, no direction, and no path. But at least at the age 32, I was wise enough to know that I didn't have to have an entire vision to start taking action and to create a path. And as I sat in a tattoo shop, getting a tattoo, I remember talking some of this through with my tattoo artist. And a quick shout out to Pete Levine at Hollowed Ground in Portland. If you're ever in the Portland, Maine area, I highly recommend him. So I told Pete, I've always loved to write. And he said to me, well, why don't you look into copywriting? And I went home and I thought to myself, why would I write copy for someone else when I could write my own stuff and I could share my own story? And guess what? Yeah, soon after, the Healthy Push platform was created. Amelia had just turned 1, and I was so excited to start this new journey, a journey that I had no idea would lead me to where I am today. And it has been so incredibly hard and scary and full of tears. Like, I look back on my first posts and videos on Instagram and I cringe, like, so hard. But I also smile because I still can't believe that I was brave enough to create a healthy push and to start sharing my story. And I mean, I share some things that I was certain I'd never share with anyone, some things not even with my closest family members. So 3 years after starting my blog, and then launching my online courses, and then launching the podcast that you're listening to now, and then starting my coaching services, I set a date and I called it quits on the healthcare field. And yes, I actually looked at a calendar and I chose a date, which was kind of chosen randomly. And I gave my notice to my boss a month before that date. And thank goodness my husband pushed me to do this, because I don't know if I would have done it without his endless support, his encouragement, and his strong belief in me and my capabilities. And so by calling it quits on the healthcare field, I've finally been able to fully step into my passion. And it honestly feels so amazing. And although it's amazing and incredibly exciting, I'm also still a little scared. And I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. I'm scared of all of the unknowns. I'm scared of just what all of this will look like. I'm scared of being on my own. I'm scared of having to figure it all out. And I'm scared of not having the financial stability that the corporate world offers. But I'll take this type of scary any day, because the type of scary that I was facing was being scared that my life couldn't look any differently, and not being happy or fulfilled, and me not even trying to see what's possible. Overall, I wish I had walked away from healthcare sooner. I wish I would have been more courageous. I wish I would have trusted in myself and my capabilities more. And if I could go back a year or two, I would have been even more courageous. I would have taken even bigger leaps. I would have done lots more leaning into uncertainty. I would have pushed myself, in a healthy way, of course, just a little more. Because a huge part of what's helped me to push myself in all of this is knowing that I have a little girl that's watching me, my 4-year-old daughter, Amelia. And I want her to know how important it is to be courageous and brave and to lean into uncertainty. I want her to feel scared and to just do the things anyway. I want her to see the endless opportunities that this world has to offer, and I want her to reach for every single one of them that sparks her interest. And of course, I want her to be proud of her mom. I want her to know that her mom always chose to be brave, to face the hard things, and how important it is to always give more than you take. All right, now that I'm almost in full-blown tears, here are some big lessons that have been reinforced for me, and also some new lessons that I've learned in making the decision to quit my job and to fully step into my passion. And I think these things will be helpful for you too. You have to be willing to choose the type of scary and hard that is actually going to lead you to making progress. You have to be willing to choose the scary and the hard that is actually going to lead to growth, healing, and overcoming. Because the scary and hard that you've maybe been choosing isn't at all helping you to get you to where you want to be. And the next one, oftentimes we think we're keeping ourselves safe when we're just keeping ourselves stuck. And by letting go of some of the safety nets, we actually allow ourselves to move forward and experience more peace and more freedom. All right, the next one, progress and growth doesn't typically happen quickly. And although it can be really frustrating as heck sometimes, slow growth is what sticks. Slow growth, progress, and healing is what leads to overcoming and thriving. Those small steps are what's going to stick. Those small steps are going to help you to get to where you want to be. The next one, sometimes you just got to push yourself off the cliff and have blind faith that you'll fly. This means no creating backup plans or waiting until you feel confident or more confident or waiting until you feel like you have everything figured out. Just take the leap and see what happens. The next one is a big one. It's okay to be scared of the unknown. The unknown is scary, and being scared of the unknown simply makes you human. But leaning into the unknown and embracing it allows you to see just how capable you are and how amazing your life can be. And you'll surprise yourself time and time again in the unknowns, because it's in the unknowns that we really get to grow, expand, and see who we really are and what we're actually capable of. All right, and this last one, it's so important to go towards your passion and towards your purpose. Because once you do, it all becomes bigger than you. And yes, stepping into your purpose is still going to be hard, but it's a type of hard that will have immense rewards. And that last one, I just want to say, it's so important that we allow ourselves to step into our purpose, even if it's really scary, hard, and uncomfortable. I want to share something really cool with you before I end this episode. Just weeks before I quit my job, I was sitting in my little office and I was drinking a cup of tea, and there was a message on the little tea bag that read, "Accept the challenge you're facing. It may become your greatest gift." And yeah, it makes me cry to even read this message out loud, and I still can't believe that this message landed in my lap at the exact time that it did. This message couldn't be more true. The challenges that we face in life are what teaches us lessons and helps us to grow and helps us to approach life differently and with more passion. And so often it helps us to approach others in ways that help us to better support and love each other. The 15-year struggle that I went through with anxiety, panic disorder, and agoraphobia landed me here. Pretty amazing, huh? And it's beautiful. And every day I think of you. Yes, you. You are why I show up here. You are why I'm talking into this microphone. You are worth every ounce of hard that I've ever faced and continue to face. And this is my greatest gift. And I know that you might not believe this right now, but what you're struggling with right now will lead you to many gifts. And it will lead you to a lot of amazing things. And I can't wait to witness you step into all of them and to everything that life has to offer you. Okay, my friend, until next time, keep taking healthy action. And before I end this episode, I want to mention that I'd really appreciate it if you shared this episode or any others with somebody who you feel could benefit from what I share here. You sharing these episodes is what helps me to reach and support others who need it. And if you have an extra minute in your day today, I'd also really appreciate it if you could leave a rating and review over on Apple Podcasts. I read every single review, and this too is what helps me to help more people to heal and overcome. All right, until next time, friend, keep taking healthy action. I hope you enjoyed this episode of A Healthy Push. If you want more, head on over to ahealthypush.com for the show notes and lots more tips, tools, and inspiration that will support your recovery. And if you're hoping for me to cover a certain topic, be sure to join my Instagram community at A Healthy Push and let me know in the comments what you want to hear next.